Alright, here's the ride height reveal. You guys ready for this? Get you all the way in there nice and deep like. That's not all the way down. Try this. It's not bad. I'm gonna get you up in there a little bit. It's right about where it was before. Without all the brouhahas and whatnots. Making it handle like shit. So, get you a clean shot here. So we're looking at ride height wise. Pretty good. Pretty good. Got a nice little rake to it. Still, pretty happy with that. So, still gotta take it around the block, see what it do. What else? Check my little roadkill list over here. I still got a, so I center the steering wheel and do an alignment. So, fun story about that. Been playing around with alignments for a while now. Just kind of get myself in a ballpark. See where I'm at. Usually go over to a buddy's house or some, my buddy's shop, and try to get my caster dialed in best I can, and then I try to do some towage. In camber, I just use my phone because it's just an easy level thing, right? I'll just stick like a house level or a 2x4 or something on the rim and get my camber. But see if I can show you guys this with one hand. Made these little bars. It's got a bolt on it and some 3/4 inch square tube, and I've used this on the truck when I had it. Now the car, different size rims, I had to make them different, so I just welded the bolt on here on the end, wrapped it with some tape, and I stick this little guy in this hole here, and I'll throw the other end on there. It's a lot easier with two hands, like tighten up bolts and whatnot. But anyways, kind of give you an idea of what's going on. These little guys here hold my tape measure. And if you look, when it's sitting down there, I got a front and a rear. I level out the bar, measure so that they're the same on both sides off the ground. I put one of these on each side, and then got me some fancy tape measures, because I like doing shit fast. So I got me some fancy tape measure, which is upside down. You can see in there, and it's got little fraction jobbies all written big on there, so I ain't gotta squint when I'm sweating. So I do use that to get my toe caster, and I'd have to go see somebody. But I got this little guy recently. If you guys know what's in her, I got me the Longacre gauge, I got me the red gauge, and it's got the digitals on it, so I can use the digitals to make my alignments more betters. Long story short, I'm going to get those LS1 calipers and brackets. Spacing should be pretty close to what these SS calipers are supposed to be looking at. I think they're different in size. These ones are 14 millimeter. I think the LS1s are 12 millimeter. So I'll probably have to drill and tap the brackets to mount to these brackets. And that should bring me back in because they're not as thick. I don't think I have them yet. I don't have anything close either. But they're, I don't know, 1/2 inch to 1 inch, like deep when it's sitting on spacing off the rotor. Whereas these are ginormous. So if I can eliminate that spacer, that will put me 1 inch further in, running better. I'll be able to turn and do all the stuffs. So hopefully that works out. If it doesn't, I think my next step is either going to be to run one of those little rubber spacers under my coil spring, or just pull the trigger and get some coilovers in front so I can adjust the ride height, which I don't want to do because I really like the stance of this thing. It just looks pretty. So yeah, I can get you in there and see that. I've always liked this rim setup and this stance. It's a little bit angled, but I like it. So I'm hoping not to do too much with that. So, yep. So on the rear, while I had everything out, playing around with spacers and whatnot. Still got this on here to remind me to torque my nuts down. But I ran some studs on the back because I do have a spacer in there. It's 3/4 inch, 1 inch, something like that. I just needed it so I didn't hit the inner frame rail. I thought about notching that out and everything, but I don't know if I'm gonna go with this rear end long term. So long term was, short term was just buy some $30 worth of studs and take it all apart, press them in, put it back together. Got my little studs on there. Don't want to be breaking off studs. You guys know, or been with the channel for a while, or been watching, you know that me and junkyard or parts counter wheel studs don't mix. I've been through a lot of those, and when you start running spacers and whatnots, these little guys, I got a butt ton of these laying around. These little guys are not hardened at all. So you put your force, see if I can hold this camera and do this at the same time. So you start putting force on the side of these where it's not designed to be, and they will shear. So you imagine that's your little spacer, right? And you got more load on the outside of this. You're gonna have more torque on it, right? Because, you know, length times torque, or length times force is torque, or whatever. I should have paid attention to physics. So anyway, I've broken these off. I've actually broken 5 at the same time. I think that was a combination of things. Me running, you know, a spacer on a spacer, and then the rim, and each one had its little wheel studs in it. And then I was torquing everything to 125 foot-pounds, and they were like 7/16. So I just assumed that, I didn't Google or anything, everything was torqued to 125, so probably snapped them bad boys. But anyway, live and learn, right? I just try shit by doing it. Probably not the best way. So anyway, we're gonna order some of these LS1 calipers, and stay tuned. That'll be next. Alright guys, welcome back. So finally received my brake calipers and rotors. That took forever. I think the FedEx truck lost them, so whatever. Here's the LS1 calipers. They're not as beefy as the Brembos, and the rotors are not as big as the Camaro SS rotors, but as you saw, running those other ones with the spacer, not going to work with the fender and the tire and everything. So I'm not changing my rims. I like the rims. I like the stance I kind of made on this. So I'm going to make this work. Alright, so got me the LS1 calipers. That's the 9802 LS1 F bodies. I'm not sure exactly what has them, but there you go. They come with this little bracket on there. Well, the way I did it came with it. I ordered them on Rock Auto. Came with the bracket and the core, or the bolts and all that. So they come M12 1.5, I think. So if you're ordering these brackets from somebody, you can ask for them M12 1.5. The brackets that I had holes were M14 size because they're made for the Brembos. So I got me a 25 30-second drill bit and the M14 2.0 tap, so I can basically tap these out for what those bigger bolts were looking for. because they're going through that bracket. So if I put an M12 bolt and an M14 hole, and it does like that. So nobody likes it when it does like that. All right, so got this side drilled and tapped on there. Should fit fine with the back spacing and everything with this bracket. Put it on there, and mine don't work right. So I gotta have something wrong with my spindle. I had to do the same thing with my Brembos. I had to take like 1,000th or 1,000th and a half off of the upper pad on the bracket, which was the caliper mounting ear on these calipers, but it's the bracket. Because when I tightened everything down, it wouldn't spin, right? Because the back of the bracket was touching up against the rotor. So round it down. Now she spins smooth. So I'm gonna start putting this side together and take care of the other bracket. So I got the brackets on. I got the calipers mounted, pads mounted, tires and rims on, and got it dropped down. So I got crap everywhere. When I was waiting for parts, I started doing like 9 other projects. So excuse my tornado, but as you can see, I got lots of room in here now. Just without having that extra inch of spacer on there, I got an extra inch in here, which means I got plenty of room here. I may still roll this fender, I don't know, just cause, but we'll see. But that should be more than enough room. I have the steering shaft disconnected because I'm doing some other crap in there, so I can't turn it back and forth. But I'm fairly confident it's going to be more than adequate for what I need. We got the upgraded brakes in here, so that was what we were ultimately going for. You know, just like she said, it's not as big as I like, but I can work with it. So started playing around with some what were they? Long tube headers. It took out the steering shaft, took out the manifold. Thought I was going to try out some first gen F body long tube LS swap or LS headers for first gen F body. But you mind let me borrow them for mock-up so I can see if they work out. Finally got around. They've been hanging up here for like, I don't know, 2 months or something. Pre-COVID, if that's a thing. Started mocking those up, and I got the first bolt in there on the flange, and then went to put the second bolt in, and that don't line up. Well, they're for a big block. So if you're doing a first gen, no, if you're doing a, what is this, metric chassis LS swap, which is what this frame clip is out of, looks like first gen LS headers may be the ticket. They fit pretty nice. Look like they were made for the driver's side anyway. So what I got out, I thought I'd show you guys my little manifold. So I got the regular factory connection on there, and I anticipated that later on I was going to do long tube headers, so I went ahead and just welded a V-band on there, made myself a little downpipe. So this may be right about where I figured long tubes would end up, and you can't see it, but now you can. So V-band on here. I got the factory connection up here, factory manifolds. Figured this would be about the length of it, and just kind of threw them in there, figuring one day I could pull that out and just drop in a set of long tubes and not have to redo my whole exhaust. Alright, got the rims and tires back on, got the brakes installed. I'm only having to run one of those little 1/8" spacers, so I've got plenty of room in here, lock to lock. I've bled the brakes, and I took it out, and it feels like it's a little better, a little harder brakes, but I need to get more of the air out, so I'm going to do that next. And overall, it seems to be a pretty good mod. I got plenty of clearance again, as better than I had with the Brembo brakes, using less spacer, so seems to be a win. Got me some studs while I was in here, so that's a win. Always had bad luck with lug studs and nuts coming off and all that kind of stuff, so this will be a lot stronger. For this video, that's a wrap, as they say on the Hoonigans. There she is, all nice and dunskies. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, all that stuff that everybody says at the end of their videos. Do it, and I'll see you soon.